Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Photographer Profile. My name is Nathan Rupert, and I've been a San Diego photographer for over 18 years. Because social media is currently focused on video content such as Reels, I started this channel to give photographers I've met a worldwide platform to share their work and stories. Please subscribe to the channel if you'd like to be notified right away when new episodes are uploaded, or if you just enjoy the content. So my guest today is Carina. How are you? Hi, Carina.
Yo, I'm doing good.
Please just give us an introduction about yourself and your photography,
Okay,
please.
so my name is Carina Fleckner, and I'm a personal branding photographer here in San Diego, California. And I help mostly women feel more confident in front of the camera so that they can grow their business and get the clients and the business they dream of.
And are you single, taken, is complicated? What is your status for people wondering out there?
I have a boyfriend.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Does he know you're doing this, by the way?
He does. He just texted me wishing good luck, and he does video too. So that's exciting.
Oh man, no pressure on my video editing skills.
No, you're a photographer. You don't have to know video.
And do you have any hobbies outside of photography that you enjoy?
I do enjoy going to concerts and live music. Since I was 15, I love going to concerts whenever I can. And the exciting thing about this is that I've been working with Live Nation Productions. Whenever there's shows here in San Diego, I help out. So I get to see a lot of shows. So it's kind of like now I'm mixing hobby and work. But it's
Are you shooting from like the front? Are you shooting from the front rows of these concerts?
It's a photographer, so it's in the production. It's
Gotcha.
Live Nation local with the production, but not as a photographer. I have done for one of the bands I did, like I took their photos too, but normally it's not as a photographer.
Have you seen any recent shows here in San Diego?
Justin Timberlake, Pink, I mean, you name it, whatever is Live Nation. You know, one of the last ones was Foo Fighters. Most of the big ones I've done in the past, like 2 years. Most of the big ones I was there.
Yeah, I live near downtown. I don't think it's a Live Nation show, but Blink 182 was here recently, a couple of months ago. Oh, you were there?
Yeah, I was working that day too. Yeah, we
I'm
do.
so jealous.
One of the venues is Petco Park, right? It's one of the Live Nation venues. So yeah, we do a lot of those shows.
All right. Well, if I need discount tickets in the future, I know where to go.
No, everybody asks.
So, how did you get into photography to begin with?
So my passion started with live music, which is interesting, right? I had a point and shoot. And I would go to shows and just get some photos. I'm always like front row because for me, that's the only way to see shows. And I'm a big Guns N' Roses fan. I loved like getting shots of them on stage. And then I got a better point and shoot because when you go to this big shows, you're not allowed to bring your camera, right? Unless you have a photo pass, right? So I got another point and shoot, Sony, that it shoots raw and it's super good. I started practicing with that and I was like, I wonder if this is something I want to do. Then I got a Nikon secondhand from a friend. I started practicing and learning how to shoot manual and all that. And then I got my own camera. So it kind of like, it went from the passion of live music and shooting like concerts. And it's really hard to make money, make a living shooting music.
Yeah. For sure.
So I was like, okay, I need to actually start making money with that if that's something that I want to do full time. And yeah, that's how it started.
Concerts are very difficult to shoot because you need to zoom in, but the lighting is very low. So you have a prime or a f2.8 or 1.4. It's very expensive to shoot concerts.
It is. It is. And, I think what's worse besides, those red or blue lights, I think it's the smoke. Smoke makes it very when it's too much, it makes it very complicated.
Would you consider yourself a full-time professional or non-professional? What would you consider yourself at this point in your career?
Yes, I'm full-time. I used to teach English as a second language. I was a teacher for 20 years, and then I started transitioning little by little, but now since 2020, I'm a full-time photographer.
What keeps that excitement there for you to go out and keep shooting and shooting day after day?
Well, I don't shoot every day, so that's one thing that helps as well, because
That's good.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I do not want to be doing this every day. It's a lot of work. It's hard work, right? My goal is to never have to do that every day. What excites me now that I do personal branding photography is that I get to help other people feel confident in front of the camera. They have photos they are proud of. They're like, oh, I look good. And they want to post and they want to use and they feel good. They start using the photos and then their business grow, because it's just, once you have that a gallery of beautiful images that you love, posting on social media becomes easier, because you can just what am I going to post today? Oh, okay, I have this beautiful photo here. I can do this. I can create a reel. I can, there's so much you can do. I think that really helps you kind of elevate your brand and really okay, show up more. Right. So that excites me.
With so many Instagram filters and photo manipulation these days, it's good to say, I have real photographs of me, not manipulated, from a professional that look good.
Also, what I offer is an experience. I want the client to feel taken care of. I want them to feel good. I want them to have fun on their shoot day. And that's why we do a whole planning before. I never book your photo shoot for next week and we go there, take some pretty photos. No. There's so much that we do before we even get together for the shoot. That's very important. That whole planning that we do before. The day of the shoot is an experience. It's a party. It's fun,
And do you have assistants, or are you just you on your own?
Yeah. It's just me.
Wow.
I've had people come with me to get some B-rolls and things like that, but it's usually just me.
One person show.
I don't want to do a lot of that. I want the client to have a VIP experience when it's their shoot day. And ideally I want to do one shoot a week,
Okay.
So I can really give them the attention they deserve.
Where's the favorite place you've traveled for a shoot or traveled for photography? Do you have a favorite location that you've been to?
Well, there's two things. One, I did a wedding in England, so that was
wow.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And another one that I did this year was I went on a cruise, a 6-night cruise to the Bahamas for work.
Any hiccups on those trips or things you didn't think about? I mean, England, they have different power outlets and stuff. I don't know. There's a lot that can go wrong.
I lived in Spain for 5 years. I'm originally from Brazil. I'm kind of used to this, having to think about those things, the power outlet and all this. I did hire a second shooter that was there. And I really recommend for weddings, especially having a second shooter, just in case anything goes wrong, right? Anticipating the problems, preparing is always the thing to do, right? If you're going abroad.
What's the biggest difference between a wedding in England versus one here in America? Did you notice any big difference?
There's a big difference when it comes to people in general. Some people are more demanding. They were like, oh my God, it's a big day. And some people are more chilled and all that. That was the biggest difference I felt. It was that the wedding in England, it was more relaxed. I think people get too stressed. That's why I don't love weddings. I don't usually do weddings. If you look at my website, it's all about personal branding. I don't even mention weddings there, but because my clients get married or have kids, so we end up doing other things like a family shoot here and there. But my main thing is personal branding. It's a lot less stressful. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah. If any relatives find out you do photography, oh, do you weddings too? It always comes up, right? At family gatherings or
yes,
holidays, stuff like that. What is the best piece of photography advice you think you've received or learned during your career so far?
I think one of the biggest things that really helped me improve was to have a mentor, to have someone that helps you, that you can talk to, that can look at your photos and give you advice, and that you can shadow to a photo shoot with them and kind of learn from them. And I was lucky enough to have two.
Oh, lucky you.
Weddings. His name is Paul Burnett, and he's amazing. He's a very well-established photographer here in San Diego for weddings. And
I'll try to get him on the show.
A friend, someone I worked with, got me in touch with him, and then he just kind of took me in. I would either be like a second or even third shooter, depending on how big the wedding was. Sometimes I was his assistant or a second or third shooter. And then we would sit together and he would look at my photos and talk about them, right? So, I mean,
yeah, that's great.
Priceless, right? And I don't pay for it. So it's like, it was really an amazing opportunity, and I made the most of it. And for personal branding photography too, my mentor was Meg Marie. We met at a coffee shop here in San Diego at Better Buzz in Hillcrest.
Oh, okay.
And we had the same camera, and I was like, "Oh, are you a photographer too?" We started talking, and at that time, I was a bit lost in the sense I didn't have a niche. I was just shooting whatever, right?
Yeah.
That was back in 2018. So I met her, and she did personal branding, and then she, launched a course, and I bought her course, and I learned from her the whole system she uses, and I went to photo shoots with her as well. What I recommend is find someone you enjoy and you admire, and try to see if there's anything you can do as an assistant or anything you can do to learn from them.
And as I mentioned in a previous video, if you don't know anyone, on Flickr, there's critique groups that you can join, anonymous critique groups. Well, I wouldn't say anonymous, but you can post your Flickr in their group, in the photo pool, and people will give you their direct opinion. And they don't know who you are. They're not trying to ease up on the criticism. So if you can find any type of critique group and you can keep your ego in check, I think that's valuable.
Yes. Yeah, you can learn a lot. Mm-hmm.
I know we briefly mentioned AI. Do you have any other thoughts on using AI today in your photography?
It has to be used as a tool, and we tell people use it. That's what I'm a bit afraid of. AI in general, how people are going to use that.
Have you ever had a branding request where they wanted like aliens or dinosaurs or something crazy manipulated into the image?
What I usually do is personal brand, right? It's more about the person, showing the personality of my client and like how they want to connect with their audience. It's usually pretty authentic, my client being themselves, nothing crazy like that. No aliens. I haven't had requests yet.
Well, I'm giving any clients watching this video an idea for their next branding shoot.
Oh boy.
What do you want to happen to your photos when you die, when you're no longer here? Do you care? Do you want them displayed somewhere? Have you ever thought about that before?
What I do is for my clients to use now, right? So it doesn't,
you don't care, basically.
I want them to use the photos now, and I want them to use the photos so they can grow and feel proud and all that, right? And feel that confidence. It'd be nice, if people looked at the photo and say, "Oh, Carina, she was such a good photographer." Good, that people would look at the photo and feel good and feel like, "Oh, she was really good." When you look at photos of you when you were younger and you're like, "Oh God, I looked good." We always have this, even like a few years ago, and I see some photos of myself and I'm like, "Oh, I looked good." Not that I necessarily felt that I looked good back then, but when you look back, right? So I want my clients to have that, to look at those photos and say, "Oh my God, yeah, I did this photo shoot with Carina. I got these amazing photos of me." The person is now, let's say, 80, 90. They look back and they feel good.
Yeah, that is a nice feeling to have. I love it when clients will put your picture as their Instagram profile or their Facebook profile. That photo really connected with them. They're able to use that as their identity on social media.
That's your answer. I want them to look back and say, "Oh, those are some amazing photos that Carina got me."
I know you're a big rock and roll fan. Is there any celebrity you'd love to do a portrait shoot or a branding session with?
Definitely especially Guns N' Roses. When I was 15, I was a big fan with posters, Guns N' Roses posters on my wall. I wanted to learn English because I wanted to understand what they were singing about. Like, it was my motivation to learn English and want to live here and all that. Right? But also, Pink. I just love that woman. And if I could do a photo shoot, a whole photo shoot for her, it'd be so much fun.
I'll tag her in the video on Instagram.
She's coming, and I'll be working her show. I'll be helping with dressing rooms.
There you go. You have your in right there.
Oh, please tag her and tell her that I want to do a photo shoot with her.
And did you watch the Olympics that just passed?
Nothing.
By any chance? Oh, okay. Is there any Olympic event you'd love to shoot? Like, I know you're not big into sports, perhaps. But...
No, but anything with gymnastics, anything that is kind of dancing and artistic gymnastics, things like that would be very interesting to shoot. I think you could get like very cool shots of all the movement and all that.
I like that answer. All right, you sent me some examples of some of your branding work. We're going to show that now. You can feel free to say whatever you want about these photos or just your branding work in general. Let's take a look at some of this. 1 second.
That's Sarah.
Yeah, I picked these out. This is one of my favorites that you've done. I love the use of bokeh.
Happy. She's going to be so happy. She's a writer and an artist. So I wanted to get those pens like in focus and with her in the background. And I love her pose. She's in the middle of doing her thing. It shows the colors. I love it.
That owl holder is pretty cool too. Where did you find that?
It's her. She brought it. So we know it's part of her, right? It's something that we found there or something that I brought. So that's why it's very personal. Personal branding is very personal.
And do you usually use flash or no flash for these type of shots?
See, well, I use natural light, as much as I can. But sometimes I do, use a flash, but only like a flash with a diffuser to kind of bounce off the ceiling just to kind of give it a little help.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. So that one, I don't think I was using the flash because we had this beautiful window, like huge window, and this beautiful light coming in the studio.
Yeah, the light looks very good.
It does, right? Yeah.
Okay, let me share the next one.
I'm curious. I'm like, I don't know what you...
Yeah, okay.
I just posted some of her photos on my Instagram. Nice. She's an interior designer, and I just love her. It's so silly, but we do. So that's what I was talking about. The experience. It's not just a photo shoot, and it's not just about that result, right? It's the whole experience during. Like her husband was there, getting some videos and some behind the scenes for us, I guess, as well. And he was there like supporting her, and it was a whole experience, right? And yeah, that's a beautiful shot. I love it.
I like how her green shirt matches the greenery. I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, but
I mean on purpose in the sense of like positioning the client, right? Because I didn't want everything to be just white. I wanted to add, a pop of color there. And the green is one of her brand colors. And that's another thing that we discuss, right? But how can you incorporate your brand colors? It could be the location, it could be your props, it could be what you're wearing, right? Green is one of her brand colors.
Yeah, companies do that all the time on commercials. T-Mobile, all the commercials are very, very pink and white and stuff like that. Yeah. It's good that you incorporate that into your photography.
Yeah, because when she posts, it everything looks cohesive, right?
Yes. Okay. Let's look at a couple more here.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is a fun one. We have a little prop. We have a prop here in this photo.
When you're shooting, but the cat or dog, they're just walking and getting in the photo, getting in the shot.
Yeah.
Hey, let's just. embrace it. There you go.
Oh, so this wasn't planned. The cat was
Yeah,
walking through
no.
the.
Like, let's just embrace that being around. You're going to be in the shot. And they are business partners. They're working together. They do interior design. So we got some cool shots of them. It was very interesting. This was a kind of a last minute kind of ask when we book. Usually like 4 to 6 weeks is ideal to kind of plan, but they were moving. They needed the photos. We still did all the steps, but it was kind of more rushed than what I do. But the photos are great, and I was so happy we did it.
I like the branding pictures where it makes people look more human, incorporating stuff from their daily life, and not everything has to be perfect like this one because it's more spur of the moment. Okay, a couple more.
Okay.
A fun one, a great smile on this one.
Yes. They opened a new salon that was like a few years ago. For hairstylists, some of the great shots for them is to get them like working with a client. I do usually suggest that you invite someone, not necessarily a real client when you're actually, because that's something interesting too. Like at the beginning, when I didn't know better, we would get like real clients and do the real service during the photo shoot. But that's not ideal. If you want to do an exchange with your client for them to like be present in the photo shoot, you can, but I always suggest that you do at a different time. And during the shoot, you're just pretending. Because, you want, like, because I'm there, I'm positioning you, okay, change, let's try this angle and try that. And if you're actually doing the service, it's not ideal. So that's something that we did. We were like, okay, we're just going to pretend here. What kind of services do you want to showcase, right? What do you want to show? Like, what tools do you want to showcase in your photo? That's something that I recommend too, getting shots of the different tools. The props, getting shots of that is also very important.
Did you get a model release from her friend? No, just kidding.
From her, to be honest. That's a lot.
Yeah, I learned the hard way about model releases. If you're doing portraits of people you want to sell that commercially or something, you need to have them sign off on that, or a lot of companies won't
I do that. For clients. I do for my clients for sure, but that's a good point there. Like the helpers.
Okay, we have one more.
Okay.
I think, is this Balboa Park?
Yes, that's beautiful.
See, I'm good. I've done a lot of photo shoots there, so I could recognize the location instantly.
It's a great location. I love how the hair. So she works with like nutrition and fitness, right? So we got photos of her working out, doing the fitness part of her business. We got photos of her in the kitchen, cooking, making a shake. We got all those kinds of photos. But this one is more about her, right? And her personality and about that. So that's something that we always try to get as well. Not only you at work or you doing what you do at work, but also you just looking pretty, being new, and that wind is just.
It's very confident.
This is something that my business is all about. That I want you to feel confident, and it's not easy to get in front of the camera, and like having someone like pointing that camera and it takes a little bit of practice. It takes a little bit of like work. Another thing I do that really helps, I show my clients the back of the camera as we go. Okay. Because there's two things here. One, sometimes they want to make a little, some adjustments, and they're like, oh, can I get this side of my face? Like sometimes they want to make those adjustments, and it's fine. But two, until they see like what I'm capturing, sometimes they don't feel that they're doing a good job. They feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. But then they look at a photo and they're gorgeous, and and they get excited. And then from that moment on, things change, and they get like, okay, we're doing this. So that's another thing.
It shows them what you're doing too. You're not just some random person.
Exactly. Like it gives the confidence. Okay, this is what we're getting. they get excited, and then it only gets better, right?
I like to do that too on my model shoots, especially if I see that, oh, their arm is looking really awkward or their leg is looking awkward. It's hard to describe that sometimes. If you can
Yeah,
show them that awkwardness, then it helps them adjust their
exactly.
pose during the
Because
shoot.
otherwise, sometimes they feel it's something that they are doing wrong, and it's not. It's just the angle. It's just how to position. I don't want them to feel that they are doing something wrong. I don't shoot models. I don't expect you to go like in front of the camera and know exactly how to do things. That's why I'm here.
Right.
I'm going to position you in a different way. So I think it helps too.
All right. Well, those are all the photos we have, but I have a couple more questions before we call it a wrap here.
Okay.
Do you have a dream shot that you haven't taken yet that you want to get? Have you thought about that?
It'd be pretty cool if I got to shoot like Guns N' Roses, for example, professionally.
Yeah.
That would be a cool shot, you know? So instead of those posters that I used to have on the wall, it would be my photo.
Maybe just look at their Instagram, see who their photographer is right now, and if you can be a backup shooter or something.
I've tried, but it's not easy to get in.
Do you have any kind of weird or wild, unexpected stories that happened to you during any of these branding shoots, or maybe when you're on that cruise ship? Is there any weird stories you can think of?
Weird. I don't have anything weird. I was thinking about the other day, I was looking at some older photos, and then I remember one of my clients, Johnny, and I'll make sure he watches this part. But so I work with a lot of women, but every now and then I get like a man that needs photos too, and so I was hired by his wife to shoot his 30th birthday. And that's
Okay.
how he got to know me. And then when he got his license to become a realtor, he hired me to take his photos, right? And I was doing full day shoot, unlimited outfits, right? He had 24 outfits.
Oh, wow.
We have a video of that, like my car, like at the beginning, how everything was organized and like ready, like on hangers and all that, and towards the end, how it was all a mess because it was 24
Oh my
outfits.
gosh. I don't even know if I own 24 outfits. I might only have 10 in my closet right now.
So funny, and he's an Englishman, but it was a lot of fun, but it was also a learning opportunity. I like my clients to know that they can have unlimited, outfit changes for more variety, but we need to make sure that we use our time in a way that you make the most of the photo shoot. So instead of like changing outfits, we're like just getting different angles and different poses, so
Yeah.
it was a learning opportunity, I guess, but it's pretty funny. Every time I watch that video of us, I'm like, me making fun of him. It makes me laugh
Changing
because I'm a woman with 24 outfits.
that many, yeah. And changing outfits in public can be difficult. You have to find a restroom or
I
someone
do
to
have
block
changing
you.
tent. I do have a changing tent, a portable changing tent. Those ones that you can use for camping.
Yeah.
So I have that. I open it. I pop it open anywhere we are, like in the middle of Balboa Park. In his case, we were in Coronado, I think, when I took that video of him like changing, like getting into the tent and all this, and I got my car, and that was a game changer for me, that changing tent, because then we don't have to look for a place to change. We can be anywhere. I pop it open, the client changes, and then off we go.
Pay no attention to the man behind the tent, people. Just walk on by.
Because people pass by, they look, and then the client would like hang the clothes like on top of the thing, so you have this like shirt, like, whoa, what's
I
happening
think
here?
people are having sex in there or something like that.
I'm like,
Yeah.
security. No,
You're
it's
fulfilling somebody's like nasty dream or something, or wish to have public sex or something.
I mean, like people wonder, right? But it's so helpful to have that. It saves us so much time and hassle.
I think that's all the questions I have. How can people find you and your work? Do you prefer Instagram, your website? What do you prefer? How do people contact you?
I do use Instagram a lot in terms of like social media. I think is the one that I use most, and people can always, reach out there and say hi. But also on my website, um, you can fill up a form if you're interested in like learning more about the packages that I offer. There's a little form that we can do a discovery call, which is like me getting to know you and like learning about your photo needs. And then we talk about, what kind of packages I have that would be best for what you need. There's no strings attached. I mean, you can book that call online. It's pretty easy. Choose the time and day that works best for you.
Okay, yeah, and I'll post a link to both of those in the description of the video so people can easily find that information.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any final thoughts? Thank you so much for coming on.
That was amazing. Thank you for finding me and offering to do this.
Yeah, I love searching out San Diego photographers on Instagram. There's a ton of us here. I mean,
yes, for sure. Sure. And it's a great place to be.
It's a lot of competition, but everyone has their own style and their own niche or specialization. It doesn't feel crowded.
We don't have to be everybody's favorite photographer. Somebody likes working with me and some people might not like working with me. We all have our different styles and different ways to work with a client. So I believe in abundance.
Room for everybody.
Everyone gets money.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.